Alara Voss stands in a bathroom thick with smoke, watching the only proof of her unborn child curl into ash. The ultrasound blackens at the edges, the grainy image of a tiny heartbeat disappearing into flame. Outside, Chicago bleeds snow against the windows. Inside, she's making herself disappear. Because Raphael Moretti, the man who owns this city's darkness, just chose another woman. And Alara? She was never supposed to matter. But here's the thing about men like Raphael. They don't lose what belongs to them. And she's carrying the future of his empire, whether he knows it or not. If you want to see how far a woman will run to protect her child, and how far a dangerous man will go to bring her back, stay with me until the end. Hit that like button and drop a comment with your city so I can see how far this story travels. The fire alarm doesn't go off because Alara disabled it 20 minutes ago. Smart girl. Too smart for her own good, Raphael would say if he were here. But he's not here. He's 40 floors down in a mahogany conference room, shaking hands with the Carbone family, sealing an engagement to a woman whose last name carries more weight than Ilara's entire existence. She turns off the faucet. The ultrasound is gone now, just gray residue swirling down the drain. Her hands shake as she grips the porcelain edge of the sink. 3 months pregnant. 12 weeks of pretending everything was fine while Raphael's world swallowed hers whole. The bathroom mirror shows a woman she barely recognizes. Hollowed out, dark crescents beneath her eyes. Hair pulled back so tight it hurts. She looks like someone already grieving. Good. She needs to look forgettable. Alara steps out of the bathroom and into the sterile efficiency of her studio apartment, the place Raphael bought for her 6 months ago when things were still simple. When he still came to her bed smelling of gunpowder and expensive cologne. When he still touched her like she was something precious instead of convenient. The duffel bag on her bed is already packed. Cash, fake ID, burner phone. She learned from the best, after all. You don't sleep with a man like Raphael Moretti without picking up a few survival skills. Her phone buzzes. She doesn't look at it. She knows who it is. It buzzes again. And again. On the 4th buzz, she picks it up. Not because she wants to. Because ignoring Raphael is like ignoring a hurricane. Eventually it finds you anyway. Where are you? His voice is rough, impatient. Background noise bleeds through, clinking glasses, low murmurs of conversation. The engagement party is still going. Home, she says. Her voice doesn't shake. Small victory. You left. I wasn't feeling well. Silence. The kind that costs money. The kind that makes men confess to crimes they didn't commit. Alara. He says her name like a command. Like if he says it hard enough, she'll materialize in front of him. Don't lie to me. I'm not lying. I'm tired, Raphael. That's all. Another pause. She can hear him breathing, can picture him standing in some corner of that glittering ballroom, jaw tight, eyes scanning for threats that aren't there. I'll come by later, he says. Don't. The word comes out too fast, too sharp. Excuse me? Alara closes her eyes. She can feel the walls closing in, can feel the future she's trying to escape tightening around her throat. I just need space tonight. Please. Space. He repeats the word like it's foreign, like he's never heard it before. Maybe he hasn't. Men like Raphael don't do space. They do possession. One night, she says. That's all I'm asking. He doesn't answer right away. She can hear a woman's voice in the background. Light, musical, expensive. Isabella Carbone. The woman who will be Mrs. Moretti in 6 months. The woman who comes from the right family, the right bloodline, the right side of the war Raphael's been fighting since before Alara was born. Fine, he says finally. One night. He hangs up. Alara stands there holding the phone, feeling the weight of that lie settle into her bones. One night. One night to vanish. One night before he realizes she's not coming back. She grabs the duffel bag and walks out. The bus station smells like piss and desperation. Perfect. Alara buys a ticket to Boston under the name Lena Ward, a ghost she created 3 weeks ago when she first suspected the pregnancy, when she first started planning her exit. The bus doesn't leave for another hour. She sits in a plastic chair bolted to the floor, duffel bag between her feet, and watches the door like Raphael might walk through at any second. He won't. He's still at the party, still playing the role of dutiful heir, still pretending Alara doesn't exist. That's the thing about being a secret. You only matter in the dark. A woman sits down next to her, older, weathered, carrying 2 garbage bags stuffed with clothes. You running or hiding? She asks. Alara looks at her. What's the difference? The woman laughs. It's a hard sound, scraped raw by too many cigarettes and not enough hope. Running means you think you got a chance. Hiding means you know you don't. Which one are you? Hiding. The woman pulls out a flask, takes a swig, offers it to Alara. You? Alara shakes her head at the flask. Running. Good luck with that, honey. The bus boards at midnight. Alara takes a seat in the back, presses her forehead against the cold window, and watches Chicago disappear into the rearview mirror. The city glows like a dying fire. Beautiful and destructive. Just like him. She puts a hand on her stomach. Still flat. Still secret. It's just us now, she whispers. The bus rolls into the darkness. 3 months later. Boston in March is a different kind of cold. The kind that gets into your bones and stays there. Alara, Lena now, walks through the snow with her head down, oversized coat hiding the swell of her belly. 6 months pregnant and still invisible. Still breathing. She works at a diner called Rosie's, slinging coffee and eggs to people who don't look at her twice. The owner, an older woman with kind eyes and questions she doesn't ask, pays her under the table. Cash only. No records. No trail. It's a good life. A safe life. A lie. Because every time the bell above the door chimes, Alara's heart stops. Every time a dark-haired man in an expensive coat walks in, she feels her world tilt. But it's never him. It's never Raphael. Sometimes she wonders if he's even looking. She pours coffee for a regular, a lawyer named Tim who tips well and talks too much about his divorce. He's harmless, boring, the kind of man who would never burn a city down to find her. You doing okay, Lena? He asks. You look tired. I'm fine. The baby keeping you up? She forces a smile. Something like that. He nods, sips his coffee, goes back to his newspaper. She refills the creamer and moves to the next table, counting down the hours until her shift ends. At 3 o'clock, she walks home through the slush. Her apartment is a studio above a dry cleaner, small and drafty, and hers. She locks the door behind her, kicks off her wet shoes, and collapses onto the couch. Her phone buzzes. The burner. Only one person has this number, her old roommate from Chicago, the only person who knows where she went. The text is short. He knows. Alara's blood turns to ice. She types back with shaking fingers. Knows what? 3 dots appear, disappear, appear again. About the baby. He knows. The phone slips from her hand. Become tired. Chicago. Raphael Moretti sits in his office overlooking the city he owns, staring at a file folder that just destroyed his world. Inside, a hospital record, a name that isn't hers, a pregnancy confirmation dated 6 months ago. He doesn't move, doesn't breathe. Pregnant. She was pregnant when she left. His hand tightens around the edge of the desk. Wood cracks under his grip. Sir? His second-in-command Victor stands in the doorway. Careful, cautious. Men have died for less than interrupting Raphael's thoughts. Get out! Victor doesn't argue. The door closes with a soft click. Raphael reads the report again. And again. The words don't change. Alara Voss. 12 weeks pregnant. Last known address, Chicago, Illinois. Except she's not in Chicago anymore. He's been looking for 3 months. Burning through contacts, calling in favors, dismantling anyone who might have helped her disappear. He thought she left because of Isabella, because she couldn't handle being the other woman. He was wrong. She left because she was protecting something, someone, his child. Raphael stands. The city spreads out below him, glittering and oblivious. He built this empire with blood and calculation. He doesn't lose. He doesn't fail. And he sure as hell doesn't abandon his own blood. He pulls out his phone, dials a number. Find her, he says when the line connects. I don't care what it costs. I don't care who you have to hurt. Find her. He hangs up. 3 months of searching, 3 months of cold trails and dead ends. That ends today. Boston. Elara can't sleep. She lies in bed staring at the ceiling, one hand pressed against her belly, feeling the baby kick. Strong, relentless, like his father. She knew this was coming, knew Raphael would find out eventually. She just hoped she'd have more time. Time to figure out what to do. Time to build a life so far removed from his world that he wouldn't bother coming after her. Stupid. Men like Raphael don't let go. Her phone buzzes again. Another text from her roommate. Get out. Now. Elara sits up. Her heart hammers against her ribs. She grabs the duffel bag she never unpacked, throws in the essentials, and moves toward the door. She doesn't make it. The door crashes open. Not Raphael. Worse. Two men in black suits, professional, efficient. They don't say a word, just move toward her with the kind of certainty that comes from years of practice. Elara backs up. Don't touch me. The first man smiles. Mr. Moretti wants to see you. I don't care what he wants. That wasn't a request. She looks around for a weapon, for an exit, for anything. There's nothing. Just her and them and the baby she can't protect. The second man pulls out a phone, dials, hands it to her. It's for you, he says. She takes it. Her hand shakes. Elara. Raphael's voice cuts through the static, low, dangerous. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. Go to hell. I'm coming to get you. You can walk out of that apartment on your own, or my men will carry you. Your choice. This isn't your decision to make. You're carrying my child. His voice drops to something colder than the snow outside. That makes it my decision. You don't even know if it's yours. Silence. The kind that precedes violence. Don't lie to me, Elara. Not about this. She closes her eyes. She's out of moves, out of time, out of options. Please, she whispers. Just let me go. Never. The line goes dead. The two men step closer. One of them reaches for her arm, and Elara realizes, finally, completely, that running was never going to be enough. The private jet smells like leather and money. Elara sits in a cream-colored seat that probably costs more than her entire year of rent, hands cuffed in front of her, not metal, but thick plastic zip ties that dig into her wrists. Professional, clean, the kind of restraint that doesn't leave marks. Raphael's men sit across from her, silent, watching. She doesn't look at them. She looks out the window at Boston, shrinking below, at the life she tried to build disappearing into clouds and distance. Her stomach churns. The baby kicks hard like it knows something's wrong. I need to use the bathroom, she says. The first man, the one who smiled earlier, shakes his head. Hold it. I'm 6 months pregnant. I can't just hold it. He doesn't move. Fine. Elara leans back, closes her eyes. When I piss myself, you get to explain to Raphael why his baby's mother is sitting in her own urine. The two men exchange a look. The second one stands, cuts the zip tie with a knife, and jerks his head toward the back of the plane. Make it quick. She stands slowly. Everything hurts. Her back, her feet, the knot of anxiety in her chest that won't loosen. She walks past them toward the tiny bathroom, feeling their eyes track her every movement. Inside, she locks the door and braces herself against the sink. Her reflection stares back, pale, hollow-eyed, terrified. She splashes cold water on her face and tries to think. There's no way out. The plane is moving. Raphael's men are outside. And even if she could somehow overpower them, where would she go? Jump out at 30,000 feet? She puts a hand on her stomach, feels the baby move. I'm sorry, she whispers. I'm so sorry. A knock on the door. Time's up. She dries her face, unlocks the door, and steps out. Raphael is standing there. She freezes. He looks exactly the same. Dark suit, dark eyes, dark hair pushed back from a face that could sell magazines or start wars. But there's something different, too. Something harder. Like the 3 months she's been gone carved new edges into him. Sit down, he says. It's not a request. Elara sits. Raphael takes the seat across from her, close enough that their knees almost touch. His men disappear toward the front of the plane, giving them privacy that feels more like a trap. For a long moment, neither of them speaks. Raphael just looks at her, studies her. His gaze moves from her face to her stomach, lingering there. When were you going to tell me? He asks. His voice is quiet, controlled. which somehow makes it worse. Never, she says. Why? Because it's none of your business. His jaw tightens. It's my child. You don't know that. Don't insult me, Alara. He leans forward. I know exactly when this happened. I know every night I spent in your bed, every time I touched you, so don't sit there and tell me this isn't mine. She looks away. Out the window at nothing but sky. You chose Isabella, she says. You stood in that office and agreed to marry her. You shook her father's hand. You smiled for the photographers. What was I supposed to do? Stay. Watch you build a life with someone else while I raised your bastard in secret? You were supposed to trust me. She laughs. It's a sharp, bitter sound. Trust you? Raphael, you didn't even tell me about the engagement until the day it happened. You just showed up at my apartment and said, I have to do this. It's business. Like I was supposed to nod and smile and keep spreading my legs whenever you needed stress relief. His hand slams down on the armrest. The sound cracks through the cabin. Watch your mouth. Or what? You'll lock me up? Oh, wait. You already did that. I brought you home. This isn't my home. It never was. Raphael stares at her. Something dangerous moves behind his eyes. Something she's seen before when he's dealing with men who crossed him. Men who ended up in rivers. You ran from me, he says slowly. You burned every trace of yourself, changed your name, hid my child. Do you have any idea what that did to me? I don't care what it did to you. You should. He reaches across the space between them, grabs her chin, forces her to look at him. His grip isn't gentle. Because I tore this city apart looking for you. I burned bridges. I broke alliances. I made enemies I didn't need to make. All because you decided to play ghost. She jerks her face out of his hand. Let me go, Raphael. No. I'll run again. No, you won't. You can't keep me prisoner forever. Watch me. They stare at each other. The plane hums around them. The baby kicks again, harder this time, like it's protesting the tension. Alara puts a hand on her stomach. Raphael's eyes follow the movement. Is it? He stops. Starts again. Are you okay? Is the baby healthy? The question catches her off guard. She expected anger, possession, not concern. We're fine, she says quietly. Have you been seeing a doctor? Yes. A good one? Good enough. Raphael pulls out his phone, starts typing. I'm setting you up with the best OB in Chicago, Dr. Reyes. She handled the governor's wife last year. You'll see her tomorrow. I don't care what you want. He doesn't look up from his phone. You're 6 months pregnant with my child and you've been hiding in some shithole apartment eating diner food. That ends now. Don't tell me what to do. Someone needs to. He finally looks at her. You ran away from the safest place you could have been. Do you understand how stupid that was? Safe? She leans forward. Raphael, you're a criminal. You kill people. You run guns and drugs and God knows what else. How is that safe? Because no one touches what's mine. I'm not yours. You're carrying my child. That makes you mine. The words hang in the air between them, cold, final. Alara feels something break inside her. Not fear. Something worse. The realization that he actually believes this. That in his world, biology equals ownership. What about Isabella? She asks. Raphael's expression doesn't change. What about her? Are you still engaged? No? Why not? Because I'm going to marry you. The world tilts. Excuse me? You heard me. He leans back perfectly calm. We'll do it quietly. Small ceremony. Family only. The baby needs my name. Alara stares at him. You're insane. I'm practical. You don't love me. Love is a fairy tale civilians tell themselves. He straightens his cuffs. This is about legacy, protection, giving my child the life they deserve. And what about what I deserve? You deserve to be taken care of. You'll have everything you need, money, security, a home, a cage, a kingdom. His eyes lock onto hers. Saw it. You just don't see it yet. The plane begins its descent. Alara feels the pressure change in her ears, feels gravity pulling her back toward the city she's tried to escape. I won't marry you, she says. Raphael smiles. It doesn't reach his eyes. We'll see. The estate is exactly what she expected. Massive, isolated, surrounded by walls that could stop a tank. They pull up in a black SUV, one of three that met them at the airport. Raphael's hand rests on her lower back as they walk up marble steps. Proprietary, possessive. She wants to shove him off. She doesn't. Pick your battles. Inside, the house is all dark wood and expensive art. A woman in a crisp uniform appears immediately. "Mrs. Chen," Raphael says, "this is Elara. She'll be staying in the East Wing. Make sure she has everything she needs." Mrs. Chen nods. She's older, Chinese, with eyes that miss nothing. "Of course, Mr. Moretti. Should I prepare the nursery as well?" "Yes. Hire whoever you need. I want it done in 2 weeks." Elara's throat tightens. He's already building a world for this baby. A world that doesn't include her input. Mrs. Chen leads her upstairs. The East Wing is larger than her entire Boston apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook snow-covered gardens. A 4-poster bed dominates the room. There's a sitting area, a fireplace, a bathroom with a tub the size of a small pool. "If you need anything, just press this button." Mrs. Chen indicates an intercom panel. "Someone will come immediately." "What if I need to leave?" Mrs. Chen's expression doesn't change. "Mr. Moretti has asked that you rest. The pregnancy has been stressful." "That's not what I asked." The older woman meets her eyes. "I'll have dinner sent up at 7. She leaves. Elara walks to the window, tests the lock. It doesn't budge. She tries the other windows. Same thing, all locked from the outside. She's not a guest. She's a prisoner. She sinks onto the edge of the bed, feeling the exhaustion crash over her. When was the last time she slept? Really slept? Not the fitful half-sleep of constant vigilance, but actual rest? The baby kicks. She puts both hands on her stomach. "What am I going to do?" she whispers. The baby doesn't answer. She wakes to voices, angry voices, coming from somewhere below. Elara sits up. The room is dark except for moonlight streaming through the windows. The clock on the nightstand reads 2:47 a.m. She slept through dinner, through the entire evening. The voices grow louder. She recognizes Raphael's, cold, lethal, and someone else. A woman. Elara gets out of bed, moves to the door. It's not locked from this side. She opens it carefully, steps into the hallway. The voices are coming from the main floor. She shouldn't go down there. She should stay in her room, stay invisible, stay out of whatever war is brewing. She goes down anyway. The grand staircase curves into a massive foyer. Elara stops halfway, hidden in shadow. Below, Raphael stands facing a woman in a blood-red dress. Isabella Carbone. "You humiliated me," Isabella says. Her voice is sharp, precise. "My family. My father." "Your father understands business," Raphael replies. This was business. This was betrayal. Isabella steps closer. "We had a deal, Raphael. An alliance. You don't just walk away from that because you knocked up some nobody. Watch yourself." "Or what? You'll kill me?" She laughs. "My family would burn this city to ash. Your empire would be rubble in a week. Then maybe you should go home and tell your father to bring his army. See how that works out." Isabella's hand moves fast, a slap that cracks across Raphael's face. His head barely turns. He grabs her wrist, holds it. "Don't ever touch me again," he says quietly. "I loved you." Her voice breaks. "I actually loved you, you son of a bitch." "No, you loved what I represented. Power, control, a way to expand your family's reach. That's not love, that's strategy. And what is she? That pregnant little—" Raphael's free hand goes to Isabella's throat. Not choking, just resting there. A promise. "Finish that sentence," he says. "Please." Isabella goes still. "She's mine," Raphael continues. "That baby is mine, and if you or your family come anywhere near them, I will end the Carbone line, permanently. Do you understand?" Isabella jerks free, steps back. Her eyes are wet, but her spine is steel. "You just started a war you can't win," she says. "I've never lost a war. There's a first time for everything." She turns, walks toward the door, stops, looks back. "That girl upstairs. She's going to destroy you. Not me, not my family, her. Because she doesn't belong in this world, and you know it." She leaves. Raphael stands there, alone in the foyer. His hand goes to his jaw where she slapped him. Then he turns and looks up, directly at Alara. She freezes. "Come down here," he says. It's not a request. Alara descends slowly. Her heart pounds. When she reaches the bottom, Raphael is already pouring himself a drink from the bar cart. "How much did you hear?" he asks. "Enough." He downs the whiskey, pours another. "You should be resting." "I was. Your ex-fiancée woke me up." "She's not my ex anything. The engagement was never real." "She seems to think it was." Raphael turns to face her. His tie is loosened. There's a red mark on his jaw. He looks tired. Actually tired. For the first time since she's known him. "Isabella is a strategist," he says. "She plays games. That's all this was. A game. She said she loved you. She loved the idea of me. Is there a difference?" "Yes." Alara walks closer. The foyer is cold. She's only wearing the oversized t-shirt she slept in. Raphael's eyes drop to her stomach, visible now through the thin fabric. "She's right, you know," Alara says. "I don't belong in this world. You're here anyway, because you forced me to be. I brought you home." "This isn't my home." The words come out louder than she intended. "This is your fortress, your empire, your kingdom. I'm just the incubator for your heir." Raphael sets down his glass. "Is that what you think? What else am I supposed to think? You dragged me back here, locked me in a gilded cage, and started planning my entire future without asking me what I want." "What do you want?" The question stops her. "I want to be free," she says finally. "Free to do what? Raise my child in some shithole apartment on a waitress salary? Free to struggle, to worry about every bill, to jump every time someone knocks on the door? Free to choose." "You chose." His voice hardens. "You chose to leave. You chose to hide. You chose to keep my child from me. So forgive me if I'm not particularly interested in your choices anymore." "You don't own me." "No." He moves closer, too close. "But I own everything around you. This house, this city, the doctors who will deliver our baby, the air you breathe. So you can pretend you have choices, Alara, but we both know the truth." She slaps him. The sound echoes through the foyer. Raphael doesn't move, doesn't react, just stands there with her handprint blooming red on his cheek. "Feel better?" he asks. Alara's hand stings. Her eyes burn. "No." "Good." He steps back. "Go back to bed. Dr. Reyes will be here at 9. "I'm not seeing your doctor." "Yes, you are." "You can't make me." Raphael's smile is cold. "I can make you do anything I want, Alara. The question is whether you want to make this easy or hard. Your choice." He walks past her, toward his study. The door closes with a soft click. Alara stands alone in the foyer, shaking, not from cold, from rage, from fear, from the horrible certainty that he's right. She has no choices, no power, no way out. She goes back upstairs. Sleep doesn't come. Dr. Reyes arrives at 9 sharp. She's professional, efficient, kind. She does the ultrasound in the East Wing bedroom, equipment wheeled in by an assistant. Raphael stands in the corner, watching. "Everything looks good," Dr. Reyes says, moving the wand across Alara's stomach. "Baby's measuring right on track, strong heartbeat, good movement." On the monitor, Alara can see the shape of her baby. Arms, legs, a face. She's seen this before, in Boston, at the free clinic where they didn't ask questions. But somehow it's different now, more real. "Do you want to know the sex?" Dr. Reyes asks. Alara looks at Raphael. He's staring at the monitor. There's something in his expression she's never seen before, something almost like wonder. "Yes," he says. Dr. Reyes smiles. "It's a boy." Silence. A boy. Raphael's son. The heir to his empire. "Congratulations," Dr. Reyes says. She's oblivious to the tension in the room. "Everything looks perfect. I'll want to see you weekly from now on. High-risk pregnancy requires close monitoring." "High risk?" Alara sits up. "What do you mean high risk?" "Just because of the stress you've been under. And your age. We just want to be careful." Raphael moves to the bedside. "Whatever she needs, money is no object. Dr. Reyes packs up her equipment. I'll send over some vitamins, prenatals, and I want you on bed rest for the next week. Let your body recover. I feel fine. Humor me. Dr. Reyes pats her hand. For the baby. When she leaves, Alara and Raphael are alone again. A boy, he says quietly. Yeah. Do you have a name picked out? No. I was thinking Lucien, after my grandfather. I don't get a say? Do you have a better idea? She doesn't answer. Raphael sits on the edge of the bed, close but not touching. I know you hate me right now. Congratulations. You're very perceptive. But I need you to understand something. He looks at her, really looks. I will do whatever it takes to keep you and that baby safe, whatever it takes, even if you hate me for it. I already hate you for it. I can live with that. Alara pulls the blanket up, suddenly cold. What did Isabella mean? About starting a war? Raphael's jaw tightens. The Carbones don't take rejection well. They'll retaliate. How? I don't know yet, but they will. Because of me. Because of choices I made. He stands. You're not responsible for this. But I'm caught in the middle of it. You're protected. That's all that matters. He leaves. Alara lies back down, staring at the ceiling. A boy. She's having a boy. Raphael's boy. The future of an empire built on blood and violence and power. She puts a hand on her stomach. I'm sorry, she whispers again. I'm so sorry. The next 3 days blur together. Alara is confined to the East Wing. Doctor's orders, Raphael says, though she knows it's more than that. She's being hidden, protected, imprisoned. Mrs. Chen brings meals, an assistant brings books and magazines. A physical therapist comes to help with back pain. Everyone is professional. Everyone is kind. Everyone is a jailer. On the 4th day, Alara hears shouting. She goes to the window. Below, in the courtyard, she can see Raphael arguing with a man she doesn't recognize. Tall, broad, expensive suit. The conversation is heated. Raphael's hands are clenched. The other man points toward the house, toward her window. She steps back. That night, Raphael doesn't come to check on her. Neither does Mrs. Chen. The house is too quiet, too still. Alara paces the room. The baby kicks restlessly, responding to her anxiety. Around midnight, she hears footsteps in the hallway, slow, deliberate. They stop outside her door. The handle turns. Raphael enters. But something's wrong. His jacket is torn. There's blood on his collar. His knuckles are split and bruised. What happened? She asks. Nothing you need to worry about. You're bleeding. It's not mine. He walks to the bathroom, turns on the sink. Alara follows, watches as he washes blood from his hands. The water runs red. Raphael, go back to bed, Alara. Whose blood is that? He doesn't answer, just scrubs harder. Raphael, he slams his hands against the sink. A traitor. Someone in my organization was feeding information to the Carbones. About you, about the baby, about where you were in Boston. Her stomach drops. How did they know where to look? Because I wasn't as careful as I thought I was. He dries his hands roughly. I've been hunting you for 3 months. I made noise, asked questions. Someone put the pieces together. What did you do to them? What I had to do. Did you kill them? Raphael turns to face her. His eyes are empty, dead. Yes. The word hangs between them. Jesus, Alara whispers. He had a family, wife, 2 kids. I gave them money, set them up somewhere safe. They'll never want for anything, but he betrayed me. He put you at risk. He put my son at risk. Raphael's voice is cold, clinical. There are consequences for that. You can't just kill people. I can do anything I want. He steps closer. That's what you don't understand. In my world, there are no rules, no laws, no mercy, just power. And I have all of it. Alara backs up. You're a monster. Yes. He doesn't deny it, doesn't defend himself. I'm exactly what you think I am, but I'm the monster who's going to keep you alive. I don't want this life. Too bad. It's the life you're in. He moves past her, back into the bedroom. The Carbones know about the baby. They know you're here, which means things are going to get worse before they get better. How much worse? Raphael pulls off his blood-stained shirt. Underneath, his torso is scarred. Old wounds, bullet holes, knife marks. A map of violence. There's going to be retaliation, he says. Soon. Maybe days, maybe hours. I'm moving you to a safe house tomorrow. I thought this was a safe house. It was. Now it's a target. Alara sinks onto the bed. Her legs won't hold her anymore. This is insane. This is my life. He pulls on a fresh shirt. And now it's yours. So you have two options. You can accept it, or you can keep fighting me and make both of us miserable. Your choice. Some choice. Raphael looks at her. Really looks. For a moment, something almost like regret crosses his face. I didn't want this for you, he says quietly. When I first brought you into my bed, I thought I could keep you separate, keep you safe, keep you clean from all of this. But that was naive. There's no separation. Not in this world. You're either in or you're dead. I want to be dead. Don't say that. Why not? It's true. He crosses the room in 3 strides, grabs her face, forces her to look at him. You're having my son, he says. That baby is the only thing in this world that matters. So whatever you're feeling right now, hate, fear, despair, I don't care. You're going to survive this. You're going to be strong, because that's what mothers do. They survive. Tears streak down her face. I can't. You will. He lets her go, walks to the door. Pack light, he says. We leave at dawn. The door closes. Alara sits in the dark, crying silently, feeling her son move inside her, feeling the walls close in, feeling her old life, the one where she was just Alara, just a nobody, slip further and further away. She's not Alara anymore. She's Raphael Moretti's. And there's no escape from that. Dawn comes too fast. Alara is dressed and packed when Raphael knocks. He doesn't wait for an answer, just enters. 2 men follow him, bodyguards, armed, silent. Ready? He asks. Do I have a choice? No. They go downstairs. The house is different now. More men, more guns, everyone moving with purpose. This isn't a home anymore. It's a fortress preparing for siege. Outside, 3 black SUVs wait. Raphael guides her to the middle one, hand on her back. Protective. Possessive. She's so tired she doesn't fight it. They're halfway down the driveway when the first explosion hits. The gates blow inward. Fire. Metal. Screaming. Raphael shouts something. The driver swerves. Alara is thrown against the door. Her stomach hits the armrest. Pain explodes through her abdomen. No, she gasps. No, no, no. Gunfire erupts. The windows shatter. Safety glass rains down. Raphael throws himself over her, shielding her body with his. Stay down, he roars. The SUV rams through something. Bodies? Debris? Alara can't tell. She just holds her stomach, feeling wetness between her legs. Blood. Raphael, she manages. I'm bleeding. He looks down, sees the blood spreading across her jeans. His face goes white. Drive, he screams at the driver. Drive faster. The world tilts, spins. Alara's vision blurs. The last thing she hears before everything goes dark is Raphael's voice, desperate and broken, calling her name. The hospital lights are too bright. Alara opens her eyes to white ceiling tiles and the smell of antiseptic. Her hand goes immediately to her stomach. Still round, still there. A monitor beeps steadily beside her, IV in her arm, hospital gown. Her jeans are gone, replaced with a thin blanket that does nothing against the cold seeping into her bones. Baby, she croaks. Her throat is raw. My baby, still there. Raphael's voice comes from the corner. He's sitting in a chair that's too small for him, elbows on his knees, face in his hands. He looks up. His eyes are bloodshot. You're both still here. Alara tries to sit up. Pain shoots through her abdomen. She gasps. Don't move. Raphael is at her side instantly. You had a placental abruption, minor. They stopped the bleeding, but you need to stay still. How long was I? 4 hours. His hand hovers over hers, not quite touching. They had to sedate you. You were in shock. The attack comes back in fragments. Explosion, gunfire, blood. So much blood. What happened? She asks. Raphael's jaw tightens. The Carbones. They hit us on the way out. 8 men. RPG took out the gate. We lost 2 of mine in the first wave. Dead? Yes. The monitor beeps faster. Alara's heart rate climbing. The doctor said you need to stay calm, Raphael says. Your blood pressure is too high. The baby... Don't talk to me about the baby. Her voice shakes. This is your fault. Those men died because of you. I almost lost my son because of you. Our son. My son. She tries to sit up again, pain, bright and vicious. You don't get to claim him. You don't get to call him yours when your world almost killed him. Raphael stands, walks to the window. His back is rigid. When he speaks, his voice is carefully controlled. I've tripled security. The safe house is fortified, military grade. No one gets in. No one gets out. I'm not going to another safe house. You don't have a choice. I'm done, Raphael. I'm done with this, with you, with all of it. He turns. You think you can just walk away? After this? Watch me. You're 6 months pregnant with a placental abruption. You can't walk 10 feet without passing out. Where exactly are you going to go? Alara stares at him. Hates him. Hates herself for ever getting involved with him. Anywhere you're not. That's not possible. Make it possible. No. The word is final. Absolute. Raphael crosses back to her bedside, leans down until they're eye level. I almost lost you today, he says quietly. Both of you. Do you understand that? When I saw that blood, when I thought... He stops, closes his eyes. I will burn the entire Carbone family to ash, every single one of them. Their children, their grandchildren, anyone who shares their blood. They tried to take what's mine. There is no forgiveness for that. You're insane. I'm motivated. He straightens. Get some rest. I'll be right outside. I don't want you here. I don't care. He walks to the door, stops, looks back. I'm sorry, he says, for what that's worth. I'm sorry this happened to you. Then he's gone. Alara lies back against the pillows, staring at the ceiling, feeling her son move inside her, gentle flutters, like he's trying to comfort her. She puts both hands on her stomach and cries. They discharge her 2 days later. Against medical advice, the doctor says, but Raphael's money talks louder than medical recommendations. A private ambulance takes her to the safe house, a compound in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by forest and armed guards. The house itself is modern, glass and steel, beautiful in a cold, sterile way. Inside, everything is state-of-the-art. Panic room, reinforced walls, surveillance cameras everywhere. Mrs. Chen is already there, overseeing staff. She helps Alara to a bedroom on the 2nd floor, smaller than the east wing, but still luxurious. Still a cage. The doctor will visit daily, Mrs. Chen says, fluffing pillows. Mr. Moretti has arranged for a full medical suite downstairs. Anything you need? I need to leave. Mrs. Chen's hands still. That's not possible. Why? Am I a prisoner? You're being protected. By who? The man who almost got me killed? The older woman's expression softens. Just barely. Mr. Moretti cares for you very much. He has a funny way of showing it. Mrs. Chen finishes with the pillows. I've worked for the Moretti family for 20 years. I've seen Raphael grow from a boy into the man he is now, and I can tell you this, I have never seen him afraid until you walked into his life. I didn't walk, I was dragged. Perhaps? Mrs. Chen moves toward the door. But you're still here. That means something. She leaves. Alara walks to the window. The view is nothing but trees, no roads, no neighbors, no escape. She tests the window lock. It opens. For a moment she considers it, climbing out, running into the forest, disappearing. But she's 6 months pregnant with a damaged placenta. She wouldn't make it a mile. She closes the window, sits on the bed, puts her head in her hands. Raphael doesn't visit for 3 days. Alara tells herself she doesn't care. She's fine alone. Better alone. But on the 4th day, he appears at her door. Can I come in? He asks. She doesn't answer. He comes in anyway. He looks different, tired, older. There are new lines around his eyes that weren't there a week ago. I thought you should know, he says. We identified the inside man, the one who gave the Carbones your location. Alara's stomach clenches. Who? Victor. My second in command. The name means nothing to her. Why? Money. The Carbones offered him $5 million to deliver you to them, dead or alive. Raphael's voice is flat, empty. He was with me for 8 years. I trusted him. He ate at my table. I was going to make him a partner. What did you do to him? What do you think I did? She doesn't want to know, doesn't ask. Raphael walks to the window, looks out at nothing. He had a sister, cancer, stage 4. The treatment costs were bankrupting his family. The Carbones knew that. They exploited it. So you killed him. So I killed him. He turns. And then I paid for his sister's treatment, set up a trust for her kids, made sure they'll never want for anything. Alara stares at him. I don't understand you. I'm not asking you to. You murder people and then take care of their families. You drag me into this nightmare and then act like you're protecting me. You say you care, but all you do is hurt me. I know. The admission catches her off guard. Raphael sits in the chair across from her bed. I know I'm hurting you. I know this isn't the life you wanted. But it's the only life I can give you. The only one that keeps you safe. Safe? She laughs bitterly. I was safer in Boston. You were alone in Boston. Vulnerable. One wrong move and the Carbones would have found you anyway. At least here, you have protection. I have a prison. Same thing in my world? They sit in silence. The baby kicks. Alara winces. Raphael notices. Are you okay? I'm fine. Don't lie to me. Why not? You lie to me all the time. When have I lied to you? You said you'd keep me safe. You said nothing would happen to me. You lied. Raphael leans forward. I said I would do everything in my power to keep you safe. I didn't promise I'd succeed. There's a difference. Semantics. Reality. He stands. I'm going after the Carbones. Directly. No more defensive posturing. I'm taking the war to them. When? Soon. Days, maybe. I need to coordinate with our allies. Make sure we have the numbers. What happens to me while you're gone? You stay here, under guard. Dr. Reyes will be on site 24/7. If anything happens, anything, you're airlifted to the hospital immediately. And if you don't come back? Raphael's expression hardens. I always come back. Everyone thinks that until they don't. He moves to the door, stops. If something happens to me, there's a will. Everything goes to you and the baby, the house, the money, the business, all of it. I don't want your blood money. Too bad. It's yours anyway. He opens the door. Try to rest. The doctor says you need it. Raphael. He pauses. Don't die. The words surprise her as much as they surprise him. I won't, he says. Then he's gone. 5 days pass. Alara exists in a strange limbo. The doctor visits twice daily. Mrs. Chen brings meals. The guards patrol the perimeter. Everything runs like clockwork. Except Raphael doesn't come back. On the 6th day, Alara asks Mrs. Chen, where is he? Handling business. What kind of business? The kind I don't ask about. Is he alive? Mrs. Chen hesitates. As far as I know, it's not the reassurance Alara was hoping for. That night, she can't sleep. The baby is restless, kicking constantly. She walks the room, one hand on her stomach, trying to calm both of them. Around midnight, she hears voices, urgent, frantic. She opens her door. Mrs. Chen is in the hallway, phone pressed to her ear. Her face is white. What happened? Alara asks. Mrs. Chen lowers the phone. There's been an attack at the downtown office. Raphael was there. The world tilts. Is he? He's alive, injured. They're bringing him here. How bad? I don't know. 30 minutes later, black SUVs roar up the driveway. Men pour out carrying a stretcher. Raphael is on it, unconscious, covered in blood. Alara stands at the top of the stairs, frozen. The doctor rushes past her, medical bag in hand. They take Raphael to a room on the first floor, the medical suite Mrs. Chen mentioned. Elara follows. The scene inside is chaos, the doctor barking orders, nurses cutting away Raphael's clothes. Blood everywhere. Out, the doctor says, glancing at Elara. You can't be in here. You need to protect that baby. Out. Now. Mrs. Chen takes her arm, pulls her into the hallway. The door closes. Elara slides down the wall, sitting on the floor, staring at nothing. Her heart pounds. The baby kicks frantically. Please, she whispers. To who? She doesn't know. Please don't let him die. Minutes stretch into hours. The doctor doesn't come out. Neither does Raphael. Finally, near dawn, the door opens. The doctor emerges, stripping off bloody gloves. He'll live, she says. 2 gunshot wounds, one to the shoulder, one to the abdomen. We removed both bullets. No major organ damage. He's lucky. Can I see him? He's sedated. Won't wake for hours, but yes, briefly. Elara enters the room. It smells like blood and antiseptic. Raphael lies on the bed, pale and still. Bandages wrap his torso. An IV drips clear fluid into his arm. She approaches slowly, sits in the chair beside the bed. He looks different like this. Vulnerable. Human. Not the untouchable crime lord who terrifies an entire city, just a man who got shot. She takes his hand. It's cold. You're an idiot, she whispers. Going after them alone. Getting yourself shot. What were you thinking? He doesn't answer. Can't. I hate you, she continues. I hate what you've done to my life. I hate this world you've dragged me into. I hate that I can't escape you. Her voice breaks. But I don't want you to die. She sits there holding his hand as dawn light filters through the windows. The baby kicks, a gentle flutter, like he's acknowledging his father's presence. Elara closes her eyes. When she opens them again, Raphael is staring at her. Hey, he says. His voice is rough. Barely there. Hey, yourself. You're crying. She wipes her face. No, I'm not. Liar. Shut up. You got shot. I'm allowed to cry. Raphael's thumb moves across her knuckles, weak but deliberate. The Carbonans? I don't know. The doctor said you need rest. Can't rest. Not until... He tries to sit up, gasps, falls back. Stop it! Elara presses a hand to his chest. You're not going anywhere. They're still out there. They'll come here. Raphael, stop. He looks at her, really looks. Something shifts in his expression. I thought I was going to die, he says quietly. In that office. When they shot me, I thought that was it. But you didn't. No. Because all I could think about was you and the baby, and how I couldn't leave you unprotected. His hand tightens on hers. I can't die, Elara. Not until I know you're safe. You can't control everything. I can try. You'll get yourself killed trying. Maybe. He closes his eyes. But at least I'll die knowing I did everything I could. The doctor enters. Time's up. He needs to rest. Elara stands. Raphael's hand doesn't let go. Stay, he says. You need sleep. Stay anyway. She looks at the doctor. The doctor sighs. 10 more minutes, then you need to go back to your room. Elara sits back down. Raphael falls asleep, still holding her hand. Touch. He recovers fast. Too fast. Within 3 days, he's up and moving. Within a week, he's back to running operations from the safe house. Elara watches from a distance. She sees the phone calls, the meetings, the maps spread across tables. Raphael planning, strategizing, preparing for war. You should be resting, she tells him one afternoon. He's standing at a table covered in blueprints, pointing at something while 3 of his men lean in. I'm fine, he says without looking up. You were shot twice a week ago. I've been shot before. That doesn't make it better. He finally looks at her. Did you need something? The dismissal stings. No. Just wondering if you plan to kill yourself through overwork or if the Carbones will get another chance first. His men shift uncomfortably. Raphael's jaw tightens. Leave us, he says. The men file out. When they're alone, Raphael crosses to her. I don't have time for this. For what? For basic self-preservation? for pretending this is anything other than what it is. A war, one I need to win. And what happens when you lose? I don't lose. Everyone loses eventually. Raphael grabs her arm. Not hard, but firm. Listen to me. The Carbones won't stop. They can't. I humiliated them, rejected their daughter, broke our alliance. They have to retaliate or they look weak. And in our world, looking weak is a death sentence. So what are you going to do? End them. Completely? No half measures? No mercy. You're talking about genocide. I'm talking about survival. He lets her go. You want to keep our son safe? This is how I do it, by making sure there's no one left to threaten him. Alara backs away. You're a monster. Yes. He doesn't deny it, doesn't flinch. But I'm your monster, and that baby's monster, so you can hate me all you want. But don't ever doubt that everything I do is to protect you. I never asked for this protection. You didn't have to. The moment you conceived my child, you became my responsibility. Forever. I'm not your responsibility, I'm a person. You're both. The words hang between them, cold, final, true. Alara turns and walks out. Behind her, she hears Raphael return to his planning. That night, Alara wakes to screaming. She bolts upright. The baby kicks hard, responding to her panic. She throws off the covers, rushes to the door. The hallway is chaos. Men running, guns drawn, someone shouting orders. Mrs. Chen appears, grabbing Alara's arm. The panic room, now. What's happening? They're here. The Carbones. They found us. Alara's blood turns to ice. Mrs. Chen pulls her toward a hidden door in the wall. It opens to a staircase leading down. Go. Lock yourself in. Don't come out until Raphael comes for you. Where's Raphael? Fighting. Mrs. Chen shoves her toward the stairs. Go! Alara descends. The staircase is narrow, lit by emergency lights. At the bottom is a steel door. She enters the code Mrs. Chen showed her weeks ago. The door hisses open. Inside is a bunker. Small, windowless, filled with supplies and surveillance monitors showing every room in the house. Alara locks the door behind her and collapses into a chair. On the monitors, she can see them. Men in tactical gear flooding through the house. Raphael's guards fighting back. Gunfire. Explosions. Blood. She finds Raphael on one screen. He's in the foyer, moving with brutal efficiency. Each shot is precise, lethal. Men fall around him, but there are too many. For every one he kills, two more appear. Alara watches, helpless, as Raphael is slowly overwhelmed. He takes cover behind an overturned table, reloads, fires. But his movements are slower now. He's bleeding again. The gunshot wounds haven't fully healed. A figure appears on the screen. Female. Expensive coat. Dark hair. Isabella Carbone. She walks through the carnage like she's strolling through a garden. Calm. Unhurried. Two bodyguards flank her. She says something to Raphael. Alara can't hear the words, but she can see his response. He raises his gun. Isabella's bodyguard is faster. The shot hits Raphael in the chest. He drops. Alara screams. The sound echoes in the small bunker, bouncing off steel walls. On the screen, Isabella approaches Raphael's body, crouches down, presses a gun to his head. Alara can't breathe, can't think. The baby kicks frantically. She looks around the bunker. There has to be something, some way to help. In the corner, she sees it. A weapons locker. She opens it. Inside, guns, knives, body armor, and a fire axe. Alara grabs it. The weight feels wrong in her hands, too heavy, too real. She looks back at the monitor. Isabella is standing now, saying something to her men. They're searching the house, room by room, looking for her. Alara's hands shake. Every instinct screams at her to stay hidden, to stay safe, to protect the baby. But on the screen, Raphael isn't moving. Something breaks inside her. Not fear. Something deeper. Harder. She unlocks the bunker door. Mrs. Chen's voice echoes in her head. Don't come out until Raphael comes for you. But Raphael can't come. So she's going to him. Alara climbs the stairs, fire axe gripped in both hands. Her heart pounds so hard she thinks it might burst. At the top, she presses her ear to the door. Silence. She opens it. The hallway is empty. Bodies everywhere. Raphael's men. Isabella's. The walls are pockmarked with bullet holes. Blood pools on the hardwood floor. Ilara steps over a corpse. Keeps moving. She can hear voices. Coming from the foyer, she reaches the top of the main staircase. Looks down. Raphael is on his knees. Hands zip-tied behind his back. Blood soaking through his shirt. Isabella stands in front of him, gun pointed at his head. "This is for my family," Isabella says. "For my honor. For everything you took from me." Raphael lifts his head. His face is a mask of blood. "Do it." Isabella's finger tightens on the trigger. Ilara moves without thinking. She runs down the stairs, fire axe raised. Isabella's bodyguard turns, too slow. The axe connects with his skull. The impact reverberates up Ilara's arms. The man drops. Everything stops. Isabella spins, her eyes widen. "You—" Ilara swings again. Isabella dodges. Barely. The axe buries itself in the wall. Ilara yanks it free. Her hands are slick with sweat, or blood. She can't tell. "You stupid little—" Isabella raises her gun. Raphael moves. His hands are still tied, but he throws his weight forward, slamming into Isabella's legs. She falls. The gun skitters across the floor. Ilara dives for it. Her fingers close around the grip just as Isabella tackles her from behind. They crash to the floor. The baby? Ilara feels something give, sharp pain in her abdomen. No, not now. Please, not now. Isabella's hands wrap around her throat, squeezing. Ilara can't breathe, can't see. The world narrows to a pinpoint, a gunshot. Isabella's grip loosens. She slumps sideways. Raphael stands behind her, smoking gun in hand. His zip ties are broken. Blood drips from his mouth. "Ilara," he gasps. She tries to answer. Can't. The pain in her abdomen is blinding. Raphael is at her side. "No, no, no, no. Stay with me." "The baby," she manages. His face goes white. He looks down. Blood spreads across her clothes. Too much blood. "Doctor!" Raphael roars. "Get the doctor now!" Ilara's vision blurs. She can feel herself fading. Feel the darkness pulling her under. Raphael's face hovers above hers. "Don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare leave me." "I'm sorry," she whispers. "For what?" "For everything." Her eyes close, and the world goes black. White light. Burning. Ilara gasps, and the world floods back in pieces. Ceiling tiles, fluorescent bulbs, the steady beep of a heart monitor, pain, everywhere, radiating from her core outward like she's been split open. She tries to move. Can't. Her body is lead. "Don't." Raphael's voice, close. He's beside the bed, leaning forward, one hand wrapped around hers. His other arm is in a sling. Fresh bandages cover his chest. His face is bruised, swollen, caked with dried blood along his hairline. "The baby," Ilara croaks. Her throat feels shredded. Raphael's grip tightens. "Still there. Both of you are still here." "How?" "Emergency C-section. You were bleeding out. They had to take him early." Her free hand moves to her stomach. Flat. Empty. Surgical tape across her abdomen. The absence is a physical wound. "Where is he?" "In ICU. 7 weeks premature, 2 pounds, 4 ounces. Raphael's voice cracks. "He's on a ventilator, but he's breathing. He's fighting." Ilara closes her eyes. Tears leak down her temples. "I want to see him." "You can't move yet. The incision—" "I don't care." She tries to sit up. Agony rips through her. She collapses back, gasping. Raphael stands. "I'll get a wheelchair." "No, you'll collapse. You were shot." "Again." "I'm fine." "You're bleeding through your bandages." He looks down. Fresh red seeps through the white gauze wrapping his torso. "It's nothing." "Raphael, our son is 20 feet away and you want to see him, so I'm getting a goddamn wheelchair." He walks to the door. His gait is uneven, favoring his left side. He grabs the frame to steady himself. 5 minutes later, he returns with a nurse pushing a wheelchair. Together, Raphael doing most of the lifting despite his injuries, they get Ilara into it. Each movement is torture. Her entire body screams. The nurse wheels her down a hallway. Raphael walks beside them, one hand on the chair's armrest, keeping contact. Like if he lets go, she'll disappear. The NICU is quiet. Dim lights, machines humming, rows of incubators holding impossibly small humans. The nurse stops at one in the corner. Inside is the tiniest person Alara has ever seen. Translucent skin, tubes and wires everywhere. A ventilator covering half his face. His chest rises and falls in rapid, shallow movements. Lucien, Raphael says. His name is Lucien. Alara stares. This is her son. This fragile, fighting creature who came into the world 7 weeks too early because his mother was stupid enough to run downstairs with a fire axe while pregnant. Can I touch him? She whispers. The nurse nods, opens a portal in the incubator. Just his hand. Gently. Alara reaches in. Her finger brushes Lucien's palm. His fingers curl around hers, so small, so perfect. Hi, baby, she whispers. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Raphael crouches beside the wheelchair. His hand joins hers in the incubator, his finger next to her finger, both touching their son. He looks like you, Alara says. He looks like a fighter. Raphael's voice is raw, just like his mother. She looks at him, really looks. The man who dragged her into this nightmare, the man who destroyed her life, the man who just watched their son get pulled from her body 2 months too early. I killed someone, she says. Raphael doesn't answer right away. His eyes stay on Lucien. Isabella's bodyguard, she continues. I hit him with the axe. I felt his skull crack. I killed him. Yes. I should feel something. Guilt, horror, something. But I don't. I just feel... She stops, searching for the word. Alive, Raphael finishes. Yes. He stands, winces. Welcome to my world. The nurse clears her throat. You both need rest. The baby will be here when you wake up. Raphael helps wheel Alara back to her room. The nurse leaves. They're alone. Alara lies back in the bed. Raphael sits in the chair beside her. Neither speaks. Finally, Alara breaks the silence. Isabella's dead. Yes. What about her family, the rest of the Carbones? Scattered, leaderless. I've sent word through channels. They can surrender or they can die. Their choice. They'll choose death. Probably. Raphael leans back. But I had to offer. Since when do you offer mercy? Since I have a son to raise. I can't wage war forever. Eventually, something has to break. Alara studies him. The exhaustion carved into his face, the blood still drying in his hair, the way he holds himself, like every breath hurts. You're not going to make it, she says quietly. If this keeps going, you're going to die. Maybe. Definitely. Raphael looks at her. What do you want me to do, Alara? Walk away? Surrender? Let them kill me and take everything I've built? I want you to choose us over the war. I am choosing you. Everything I do is to protect us, I know. You keep saying that, but protection doesn't mean anything if you're dead. She shifts in the bed. Pain lances through her incision. Lucien needs a father, not a corpse. He'll have one. Will he? Or will he have a legend, a story about the great Raphael Moretti who died in a hail of bullets before his son could walk? Raphael stands abruptly, walks to the window. His reflection is dark against the glass. My father died when I was 7, he says. Assassinated. Car bomb. I was supposed to be in that car with him. I stayed home because I had the flu. He's quiet for a long moment. I've spent my entire life trying to build something strong enough that Lucien won't have to live like I did, constantly afraid, constantly watching over his shoulder. And how's that working out? He turns. What? You just got shot. Again. I just had emergency surgery. Our son is fighting for his life in an incubator. Does this feel safe to you? Raphael crosses back to her bedside, leans down until they're eye level. This is the safest you've ever been, because I'm still breathing. The day I stop breathing is the day you should be afraid. I'm already afraid. Of what? Of you. Of this life. Of who I'm becoming. Her voice breaks. I killed a man, Raphael. I didn't hesitate. I didn't freeze. I just swung that axe and I killed him. What does that make me? A survivor. A monster. Then we're both monsters. He sits on the edge of her bed. And maybe that's what it takes. Maybe the only way to survive in this world is to become the thing you fear most. Alara closes her eyes. Exhaustion pulls at her. I don't know if I can do this. You already are. I don't know if I want to. Raphael's hand finds hers. Then don't. When you're healed. When Lucien is stable. I'll get you papers. New identity. Enough money to disappear anywhere in the world. You can have the life you wanted. Clean, safe, far from me. She opens her eyes. What about Lucien? He stays with me. Like hell. I won't keep you from him. You can see him whenever you want. But he's a Moretti. That means he grows up in this world, learning this life. There's no escaping that. You're asking me to choose between my freedom and my son. I'm asking you to be honest about what you want, because I can't keep fighting you and the Carbones at the same time. Alara stares at him. At this man who holds her entire future in his scarred, bloody hands. I hate you, she whispers. I know, but I can't leave him. I know that too. She pulls her hand away. Get out. Alara, get out. I need to think. Raphael stands, walks to the door, stops. For what it's worth, I never wanted this for you. I never wanted to make you into something you're not. Then why did you? Because the alternative was losing you, and I'm too selfish for that. He leaves. Alara lies in the dark, staring at the ceiling, feeling the ache in her abdomen where they cut her son out of her body, feeling the ghost of the axe in her hands, feeling the weight of a choice that isn't really a choice at all. And 3 days later, they discharge her, against medical advice. Again. But Lucien is stable and Raphael's compound is more secure than any hospital. Dr. Reyes sets up a medical suite in the nursery. Nurses rotate in 8-hour shifts. Everything Lucien needs is brought to them. Alara spends hours in the nursery, sitting beside the incubator, watching her son breathe. Raphael is there too, though he rarely speaks, just sits in the corner making phone calls in low voices, running his empire from a chair next to his premature son. On the 4th day home, Victor's replacement arrives. A woman, tall, severe, with cold eyes and a military bearing. Her name is Katerina. She came highly recommended, Raphael says when he introduces them. Former FSB. Survived 3 assassination attempts. She'll coordinate security going forward. Katerina nods at Alara. No smile, no warmth, just assessment. You're the one who killed Isabella's bodyguard, Katerina says. Yes. With a fire axe? Yes. Messy, but effective. Katerina turns to Raphael. The Carbones have responded to your terms. And? They're sending a delegation. They want to negotiate. Raphael's jaw tightens. When? Tomorrow, noon. Neutral ground. They're requesting the meeting be held at the old steel mill on the south side. That's Carbone territory, which is why they chose it. They want home advantage. How many are they bringing? They say 5. I'd planned for 20. Raphael looks at Alara. She's still sitting beside Lucien's incubator, listening. I'll bring 10, he says. If they want a massacre, I'll give them one. Or, Alara says quietly, you could actually negotiate. Both Raphael and Katerina turn to her. Negotiate, Raphael repeats, like the word is foreign. Yes, talk, find common ground, end this before more people die. They killed my men. They tried to kill you. They put our son in an incubator. There is no common ground. Alara stands, moves to face him. Their daughter is dead, Raphael. You killed her. That makes you even. It doesn't work that way. Then make it work that way. She's too tired to shout, too broken to fight. I'm begging you, please, end this. Raphael stares at her. Something shifts in his expression. Fine, he says. I'll negotiate. But if they so much as look at me wrong, I'm burning that building down with everyone in it. That's a start. He leaves. Katerina follows. Alara turns back to Lucien. His tiny chest rises and falls. Fighting. Always fighting. Your father is an idiot, she whispers. But he's our idiot. The next morning, Raphael dresses for war. Body armor under a suit. 3 guns. Knives. He looks like he's preparing for an execution, not a negotiation. Alara watches from the nursery doorway. You're supposed to be making peace. I'm supposed to be staying alive. He checks his weapons. Katerina will stay here with you and Lucien. 20 men on the perimeter. If anything happens, anything, you get to the panic room. Understood? Raphael. Understood? Yes. He crosses to her, cups her face in his hands. If I don't come back, don't say that. If I don't come back, everything is in your name. The accounts, the properties, all of it. Katerina knows where the documents are. She'll help you. You're coming back. Probably. He kisses her forehead, gentle, almost tender. But just in case. Then he's gone. Alara listens to his footsteps fade, the front door opening, closing, the rumble of SUV engines, silence. She returns to Lucien, sits, waits. Katerina enters 20 minutes later. Everything's secure. We've got eyes on every approach. No one gets in. What about getting out? That too. They sit in silence. Alara watches Lucien. Katerina watches the door. An hour passes, then 2. Alara's phone rings. She doesn't recognize the number, answers anyway. Hello? Mrs. Moretti. A man's voice. Older, accented, Italian. We haven't been introduced. My name is Antonio Carbone. I'm Isabella's uncle. Alara's blood goes cold. How did you get this number? The same way I got the location of your safe house. The same way I know Raphael left 40 minutes ago with 10 men. The same way I know you're sitting in a nursery with a premature infant and exactly 23 guards. Katerina is on her feet, gun drawn. What do you want? Alara asks. To make you an offer. Antonio's voice is calm, reasonable. Raphael killed my niece. My family demands justice, but I'm a businessman. I understand that wars are expensive, pointless, bad for everyone involved. So I'm willing to end this, right now, today. All I need is one thing. What? You. The word hangs in the air. Me, Alara repeats. Yes, you killed one of my men. You're carrying Raphael's heir. You're the perfect bargaining chip. You give yourself up. We let Raphael and the boy live. Everyone goes home. Peace is restored. And what happens to me? That depends on how cooperative you are. Alara looks at Katerina. The other woman is already on her phone, typing rapidly. I need time to think, Alara says. You have 1 hour. After that, I start killing Raphael's men, 1 every 10 minutes, starting with the ones at the steel mill. Antonio pauses. Your choice, Mrs. Moretti. You or them. He hangs up. Katerina lowers her phone. It's a trap. Has to be. Of course it's a trap. Alara stands. Her incision screams. She ignores it. But he's right. Raphael is at the steel mill. If the Carbones attack, Raphael can handle himself. Can he? He's already been shot twice this month. How many times can he survive before his luck runs out? Katerina holsters her gun. What are you thinking? I'm thinking Antonio Carbone just gave me a way to end this war. By sacrificing yourself. By making a trade. Alara looks down at Lucien. If I go, Raphael lives. Lucien grows up with a father. The Carbones get their justice. Everyone wins. Except you. Except me. Alara touches the incubator, her son's tiny hand. But I'm okay with that. Raphael will never forgive you. Raphael doesn't have to know until it's done. Katerina stares at her. You're serious? Yes. You're insane. Probably. Alara straightens. Can you get me out of here without anyone knowing? Shouldn't. But can you? Katerina is quiet for a long moment. Then, there's a service entrance, leads to the woods. From there, you'd be on your own. That's all I need. Raphael will kill me for this. Tell him I forced you, held a gun to your head, whatever. Just get me out. Katerina considers, finally nods. You have 5 minutes to say goodbye. Alara turns back to Lucien, leans over the incubator. Her tears fall onto the clear plastic. I'm sorry, baby, she whispers. I'm sorry I won't be there to watch you grow up, but your daddy will. And he'll tell you about me, about how much I loved you, how I would have done anything to keep you safe. Lucian's fingers twitch, like he's reaching for her. Alara presses her palm against the incubator. Be strong. Be brave. Be better than both of us. She steps back. Katerina is waiting by the door. They move quickly, down a back hallway, through the kitchen, to a door hidden behind a pantry. It opens to darkness and cold air. There's a car 2 miles north, Katerina says. Keys in the visor. It'll get you wherever you need to go. Thank you. Don't thank me. This is the stupidest thing I've ever helped someone do. Alara steps into the night. Behind her, the door closes. She's alone. Ma scum. The steel mill is exactly what she expected. Abandoned, rusting, the kind of place where bodies disappear and no one asks questions. Alara approaches on foot. Her incision burns with every step. Blood seeps through her bandages. She can feel it, warm and wet against her skin. She doesn't care. 2 men intercept her at the entrance, large, armed. They pat her down. Find nothing. She came empty-handed. Antonio is expecting me, she says. They lead her inside. The main floor is cavernous, empty except for shadows and debris. In the center, a table. Antonio Carbone sits on one side. Older than she expected, gray hair, expensive suit, kind eyes, the kind of eyes that hide atrocities. Mrs. Moretti, he says, standing, thank you for coming. Where's Raphael? Safe, for now. My men have the steel mill surrounded. He's negotiating in good faith, not knowing his wife just walked into my trap. I'm not his wife. A technicality. Antonio gestures to the chair across from him. Please, sit. We have much to discuss. Alara sits. Every muscle screams. Antonio studies her. You're bleeding. I had surgery 4 days ago. You're lucky I can walk. Yet here you are. Impressive. He pours 2 glasses of wine, slides one toward her. To sacrifice. I'm not drinking with you. Suit yourself. He sips his wine. I assume you understand the terms. You stay with me. Raphael and the boy go free. The war ends. What happens to me? That depends on how useful you are. Raphael's empire is vast, complex. I need someone who understands how it works. You've been inside. You know the players, the operations, the weak points. You want me to betray him. I want you to survive. Betrayal is just the price. Alara laughs. It's a hollow sound. You think I know anything about his business? I'm a waitress. Was a waitress. I don't know anything. You know where he sleeps, where he keeps his son, where his vulnerabilities are. Antonio leans forward. That's enough. And if I refuse, then I kill you right now. And then I kill Raphael. And then I take the boy and raise him as my own, a Carbone. Not a Moretti. His smile is gentle, monstrous. Your choice. Alara's hands shake. She presses them flat against the table. How do I know you'll keep your word? She asks. You don't. But I'm a man of honor. I say I'll let Raphael live. I'll let him live. As long as he never comes after my family again. He'll come after me. Let him try. Outside, gunfire erupts. Antonio's smile vanishes. He's on his feet. Gun drawn. What? The doors explode inward. Raphael stands in the opening, silhouetted against fire and chaos. His suit is torn. Blood covers his face. He's holding a gun in each hand. Get away from her, he says. Antonio grabs Alara, yanks her to her feet, presses his gun to her temple. One more step and I paint the walls with her brain. Raphael stops. The world narrows to this moment. This standoff. Alara can feel Antonio's breath on her neck, can see Raphael's finger on the trigger, can hear her own heartbeat thundering in her ears. Let her go, Raphael says. His voice is dead calm. Why would I do that? She came to me, willingly, offered herself in exchange for your life. Raphael's eyes flick to Alara. Something passes between them. Betrayal. Understanding. Rage. Is that true? He asks her. Yes. Why? Because someone had to end this, and it wasn't going to be you. So you thought you'd sacrifice yourself? Yes, without asking me. You would have said no. Of course I would have said no. Raphael's composure cracks. You're the mother of my child. You think I'd let you trade yourself for me? It's not about what you want. Antonio presses the gun harder against her temple. Enough. Raphael, you're going to walk out of here, alone. Leave the girl, leave the war, go raise your son. That's the deal. No deal. Then she dies. If she dies, you die. And everyone you've ever loved dies. I will erase the Carbone name from history. Empty threats from a desperate man. Raphael's smile is terrifying. Try me. For a long moment, no one moves. Then Ilara does something stupid. She slams her head backward into Antonio's face. His grip loosens. Just for a second. Raphael fires. The bullet takes Antonio in the shoulder. He drops. Ilara falls with him. Raphael is across the space in seconds, pulls her away, shields her body with his. You insane, reckless. He's checking her for wounds, for new blood. What the hell were you thinking? I was thinking I could save you. I don't need saving. Yes, you do. You're bleeding again. He is. Fresh blood soaks through his suit. Another gunshot wound. Another close call. Ilara touches his face. You're going to get yourself killed. Not today. Behind them, Antonio groans, tries to sit up. Raphael stands, points his gun at the older man's head. Please, Antonio gasps. I surrender. I'll call off my family. End the war. Just don't... You put a gun to her head. Raphael, no. Ilara reaches for him. He fires. Antonio slumps. Dead. The room falls silent. Raphael lowers his gun, turns to Ilara. Can you walk? I think so. He helps her to her feet. Her incision has split open. She can feel it. Fresh blood mixing with old. We need to get you to a hospital, Raphael says. What about... It's over. Antonio was the last one. The Carbone line ends here. Outside, sirens wail, close, getting closer. Raphael curses. We need to move, now! They stumble toward the exit, past bodies, past fire, into the night where SUVs wait with engines running. Katerina is in the driver's seat. Get in, police are 2 minutes out. They pile in. The vehicle lurches forward. Ilara leans against Raphael. His arm wraps around her, tight, possessive, like he's afraid she'll disappear. Don't ever do that again, he says. Which part? Any of it. All of it. He presses his forehead to hers. You don't get to sacrifice yourself. Not for me. Not for anyone. Someone had to... No, someone didn't. We could have found another way. There was no other way. There's always another way. They ride in silence. The city blurs past. Somewhere behind them, the steel mill burns. Ilara closes her eyes. I need a hospital, she whispers. I know. And then I need sleep. I know that too. And then... She stops. Doesn't know how to finish. Raphael does it for her. And then we figure out how to live with what we've become. The SUV speeds into the night. Behind them, the war ends. But the aftermath is just beginning. The hospital room smells like disinfectant and failure. Ilara lies on the surgical table for the second time in a week, staring at ceiling tiles while Dr. Reyes works to repair the damage. The incision split clean open, 6 fresh stitches. Internal bleeding they had to cauterize. You're lucky you didn't rupture something vital, Dr. Reyes says, not looking up from her work. Another hour, and we'd be having a very different conversation. Ilara doesn't answer. Lucky isn't the word she'd use. Raphael stands in the corner, arms crossed, face carved from stone. He hasn't spoken since they arrived, just watched as they wheeled her into surgery, watched as they cut her open again, watched as they put her back together. When Dr. Reyes finishes, she strips off her gloves and levels a look at both of them. This is the last time I'm doing this. Next time you decide to play action hero while recovering from major surgery, find another doctor. I'm done enabling this insanity. She leaves. The nurse follows. Raphael and Ilara are alone. He crosses to the bed, stands there, silent. Say it, Ilara finally says. Say what? Whatever you're thinking, I can see it on your face. Raphael's jaw works. You could have died. But I didn't. You could have. Running off to meet Antonio Carbone like some kind of... He stops, takes a breath. What were you thinking? I was thinking I could end the war. By getting yourself killed? By making a trade, my life for yours, seemed fair. Raphael leans down, plants his hands on either side of her, close enough that she can see the gold flecks in his dark eyes, close enough to feel the heat radiating off him. Nothing about this is fair, he says. Not me dragging you into this world, not you almost dying twice in 1 week, not our son fighting for his life in an incubator because you were stupid enough to think you could take on armed men with a fire axe. I saved your life. You nearly ended ours. His voice drops. Dangerous. Do you have any idea what it felt like? Watching Antonio put a gun to your head, knowing that if I pulled the trigger, he might kill you first? You pulled it anyway. Because you gave me an opening. If you hadn't... He straightens, walks to the window. I would have let him take you. I would have let him walk out of there with you just to keep you alive. The admission hangs in the air. Elara stares at his back, at the rigid set of his shoulders. You're lying. I'm not. You would never let someone take me. Not normally, but with a gun to your head, with our son back at the compound, I would have made the calculation. 1 life versus 2. Simple math. That's the most Raphael Moretti thing I've ever heard. He turns. What? Reducing people to math problems. Calculating acceptable losses. That's who you are. Yes. And you knew that when you got involved with me. I didn't know anything. I was a waitress who thought you were just another customer. I didn't know you were a crime lord. I didn't know you killed people for a living. I didn't know getting into your bed meant signing up for a lifetime of violence. Raphael crosses back to her. But you did get into my bed. Multiple times. You let me inside you. You conceived my child. So at some point, you made a choice. Maybe not a fully informed choice, but a choice. And I've regretted it every day since. The words land like a slap. Raphael goes very still. I see. Do you? Because I don't think you do. I don't think you understand what you've taken from me. My freedom, my safety, my entire future. I had plans, Raphael. I was saving money. I was going to go back to school. I was going to be something other than a waitress. You still can. How? I'm the mother of a mob boss's son. I killed a man. I'm a target for every family you've ever crossed. Where exactly do I fit in normal society now? Raphael sits on the edge of the bed, careful not to jostle her. You don't. That world is gone. This is your world now. I hate this world. I know. I hate you. I know that too. He looks at her, really looks. But you're still here. Because of Lucetium. Is it? Or is it because some part of you, some small, twisted part, actually belongs here now? Elara wants to deny it, wants to tell him he's wrong, but the lie won't come. Because he's right. The woman who burned an ultrasound in a Chicago apartment wouldn't have picked up that fire axe, wouldn't have charged down those stairs, wouldn't have driven to the steel mill to trade herself for a man she claims to hate. That woman died somewhere along the way. What's left is something harder, sharper, more dangerous. I don't know who I am anymore, she whispers. Raphael's hand covers hers. You're Elara Voss, mother of my son, the woman who survived my world and came out the other side still breathing. That's more than most people can say. Is that supposed to be comforting? It's supposed to be true. A nurse enters. Visiting hours are over. She needs rest. Raphael stands, leans down, kisses Elara's forehead. I'll be back in the morning. Where are you going? To check on Lucian. Make sure the compound is secure. Tie up loose ends. What kind of loose ends? The kind you don't need to worry about. He leaves. Elara lies in the dark, staring at nothing, feeling the pull of stitches in her abdomen and the weight of choices she can't unmake. 3 days later, they discharge her. Again. Dr. Reyes makes her sign a waiver absolving the hospital of responsibility if she dies from sheer stupidity. Elara signs it. Raphael drives her back to the compound himself. No convoy, no bodyguards. Just the two of them in a black sedan that probably costs more than her entire year of rent in Boston. Where is everyone? She asks. Gave them the day off. We need to talk, without an audience. Her stomach tightens. About what? About what comes next. They pull up to the compound. It looks different in daylight. Less fortress, more estate. beautiful in a cold, untouchable way. Inside, Mrs. Chen has prepared lunch. She serves it in silence, then disappears. Elara picks at her food. Raphael doesn't touch his. The Carbone family has officially surrendered, he says. Antonio's brother reached out this morning. They want peace. They're willing to cede territory, pay reparations, whatever it takes. What did you tell them? That I'd think about it. Will you? Accept their surrender? Yes. Trust them? No. But the war is over for now. Elara sets down her fork. So what happens to me? That depends. On what? On whether you want to stay. The question catches her off guard. You're giving me a choice? I always gave you a choice. You just never believed me. Because you dragged me onto a plane, locked me in your house, forced me into this life. I protected you. There's a difference. Not to me. Raphael leans back. Fair enough. So here's the choice. You can leave. I'll set you up anywhere in the world. New identity, money, security. You can visit Lucian whenever you want. I won't stop you. But you won't be part of this life anymore. You'll be separate, safe, clean. And option 2? You stay. You marry me. You raise Lucian with me. You become part of this empire, not as a prisoner, as a partner. Elara laughs. It's a sharp, bitter sound. A partner in what? Your criminal enterprise? In everything, the business, the decisions, the risk. You'd have a voice, real power, not just the illusion of it. Why would you give me that? Because you earned it. The moment you picked up that axe, the moment you walked into that steel mill, you stopped being a civilian. You became something else. A monster. A survivor. Raphael leans forward. And survivors don't run. They adapt, they fight, they take what's theirs, and they hold on to it. Is that what I am to you? Something to hold on to? No, you're the only thing in this world I can't afford to lose. The words settle between them. Heavy, true. Elara looks away. I need time. How much? I don't know, a day, a week, however long it takes to figure out if I can actually live like this. Raphael stands. Take all the time you need. But understand something. Whether you stay or go, you'll always be connected to this world. To me. To Lucian. There's no clean break, no fresh start. That option died the moment you burned that ultrasound. He leaves her alone with her half-eaten lunch and a choice that doesn't feel like a choice at all. What? She spends the afternoon in the nursery. Lucien is stronger now, off the ventilator, breathing on his own, still tiny, still fragile, but fighting. Hey, baby, she whispers, reaching through the incubator portal to touch his hand. Your dad's making me choose, stay or go, be part of his world or walk away. What do you think I should do? Lucian's fingers curl around hers. That's not an answer. But maybe it is. Because looking at her son, this tiny, perfect human who exists because she made one reckless choice in a Chicago bar, she realizes something. She's already chosen. She chose the moment she picked up that axe, the moment she drove to the steel mill, the moment she stood in front of Antonio Carbone and offered herself in trade. She's not the woman who burned that ultrasound anymore. She's someone else now, someone harder, someone capable of violence, someone who belongs in Raphael Moretti's world whether she wants to or not. The door opens. Raphael enters. He's carrying a small box. I know you said you need time, he says, but I wanted to give you this anyway. He opens the box. Inside is a ring, simple, elegant, a single diamond on a platinum band. It was my mother's, he says. She gave it to me before she died, told me to give it to someone worthy, someone strong enough to survive this life. Elara stares at the ring. I'm not strong. You killed a man with a fire axe while 6 months pregnant. I'd say that qualifies. That was desperation, not strength. What's the difference? She doesn't have an answer. Raphael takes the ring from the box, holds it between them. I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to manipulate you. I'm asking, genuinely asking. Will you marry me? Why? Because I love you. The words stop her cold. You don't love me, she says. You can't. People like you don't love. You possess. You control. You own. But you don't love. You're wrong. Raphael sets the ring on the table beside Lucien's incubator. I've loved you since the moment you looked at me in that bar and didn't flinch. Since you let me into your bed knowing exactly what I was. Since you ran from me and I realized I'd burn this entire city to ash to get you back. That's not love. That's obsession. In my world, they're the same thing. Alara looks at the ring, at Raphael, at their son sleeping peacefully in his incubator. If I say yes, she says slowly, what changes? Everything. You'd have access to the accounts, the operations, the decisions. You'd be my equal, not my prisoner. And if I say no, then you leave, and I spend the rest of my life wondering if I could have done something different. You could have let me go in the first place. No, I couldn't. That was never an option. Why not? Because losing you would have killed me. He says it simply, matter of fact. And I'm too selfish to die. Alara picks up the ring, studies it. The diamond catches the light, throwing rainbow fragments across the walls. I don't forgive you, she says. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I still hate you sometimes. I can live with that. I might never stop hating you. As long as you stay, I'll take whatever you're willing to give. Alara slides the ring onto her finger. It fits perfectly. This doesn't mean I'm happy about this, she says. I know. It doesn't mean I've accepted this life. I know that too. It just means... She stops, searches for the words. It means I'm choosing to survive. On my terms. In my way. Raphael's smile is small, genuine. That's all I'm asking. He leans down, kisses her, soft, careful, like she might break. She doesn't break. She kisses him back. When they pull apart, Lucien makes a small sound. Not quite a cry, just awareness. They both turn to look at him. He knows, Raphael says. Knows what? That we're staying together. That we're going to raise him, that he's safe. You don't know that. I know. Alara reaches into the incubator, touches Lucien's tiny hand. Raphael's hand joins hers. Their son, their future, their choice. 6 months later. The penthouse overlooks Chicago like a throne room overlooking a kingdom. Floor-to-ceiling windows show the city sprawling in every direction. Lights, movement, life. Alara stands at the window, watching the sun set over the skyline. Behind her, Lucien sits in a playpen, stacking blocks with chubby fingers. He's bigger now. Healthy. No longer the fragile preemie fighting for every breath. He's a Moretti. Strong, relentless, stubborn as hell. Just like his father. Just like his mother. The penthouse door opens. Raphael enters, loosening his tie. He looks tired. There are new lines around his eyes. The business of running an empire takes its toll. How was the meeting? Alara asks without turning. Productive. The East Coast families are willing to negotiate new terms. We might actually have peace for a few years. Might? There are no guarantees in this life. You know that. She does. Raphael crosses to this playpen. Scoops up Lucien. The baby squeals. Happy. Safe. How was your day? Raphael asks. I fired 3 managers, restructured the South Side operations, and had lunch with the mayor's wife. Busy. Welcome to partnership. Raphael smiles. It's genuine. Having second thoughts? Every day. But you're still here. I'm still here. They stand together, watching their son play with his father's expensive watch, completely oblivious to the empire built around him. The blood spilled to keep him safe, the choices made to give him a future. Do you regret it? Raphael asks quietly. Any of it? Alara considers. The question deserves honesty. I regret the pain, she says finally. The fear, the violence. I regret that Lucien will grow up in a world where people want to kill him just because of his last name. But I don't regret him, and I don't regret surviving. I don't regret becoming strong enough to protect him, to protect us. Even if it meant becoming someone you never wanted to be? Especially then. She turns to look at Raphael. The woman I was would have run, would have hidden, would have spent her whole life afraid. The woman I am now, she doesn't run. She fights. And she wins. We win, Raphael corrects. We win, she agrees. He sets Lucienne down, crosses to Alara, pulls her close. I never thanked you, he says. For what? For staying, for fighting, for choosing this life even though you hate it. I don't hate it anymore. The admission surprises her. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. What do you feel? Powerful. She looks up at him. For the first time in my life, I feel like I have control, real control, not just the illusion of choice, actual power over my future. That's the best revenge. Against who? Everyone who ever made you feel small, including me. Alara's smile is sharp. Especially you. He laughs. It's a rare sound. She's learned to treasure it. Behind them, Lucienne babbles, happy sounds, baby sounds, the sounds of someone who will never know what it costs to give him this life. Maybe that's the point. Maybe the whole purpose of violence is to build a world where the next generation doesn't need it. Or maybe that's just what people tell themselves to sleep at night. Either way, Alara is done running, done hiding, done pretending she's someone she's not. She's Alara Moretti now. Wife, mother, partner. Queen of a kingdom built from ash and blood and choices that can't be unmade. The city glows below. 1,000,000 lights, 1,000,000 lives, all of them unaware of the woman standing in a penthouse window, watching over them like a guardian. Or a predator. Sometimes there's no difference. Raphael's hand finds hers. Their fingers intertwine. What are you thinking, he asks. That we survived. We did more than survive. We won. Did we? Or did we just trade one cage for another? What's the difference? This cage has a better view. Raphael pulls her closer. And better company. Debatable. He kisses the top of her head. I love you. I know. Do you love me? Alara considers the question, really considers it. Does she love the man who dragged her into hell, who destroyed her old life, who gave her no choice but to become something she never wanted to be? Or does she love the man who fought armies to keep her safe, who gave her power when he could have kept her powerless, who looks at their son like he's the only thing in the world that matters? Maybe both. Maybe neither. Maybe love in this world looks different than love in the one she left behind. Ask me again in 10 years, she says. I will. And I still might not have an answer. I can live with that. They stand there as the sun sets completely, as the city lights take over, as Lucienne falls asleep in his playpen, exhausted from a day of being a baby. Somewhere in Chicago, deals are being made. Territories are being divided. Violence is being planned. But up here, in this penthouse that touches the sky, there's peace. Temporary, fragile, earned through blood and sacrifice. But peace nonetheless. Alara closes her eyes, feels Raphael's heartbeat against her back, feels the weight of the ring on her finger, feels the exhaustion of survival settling into her bones. She didn't choose this life, but she's living it anyway. Not as a victim, not as a prisoner, as a woman who learned that sometimes the only way to escape the fire is to become it. The city pulses below, unaware, uncaring, eternal. And above it all, in a glass tower that scrapes the clouds, a family stands together, imperfect, damaged, dangerous, but together. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. The end. This is a story about survival, about the choices we make when there are no good options, about becoming the thing you fear most just to protect what you love. Alara Voss walked into Raphael Moretti's world as a civilian. She emerged as something else entirely. Not a monster, not a saint, just a woman who learned that strength comes in forms we never expect, that love exists even in the darkest places, that sometimes the only way forward is through fire. She didn't get the life she wanted, but she got the life she fought for. And in the end, maybe that's the only kind of happy ending that matters. The kind you survive, the kind you earn, the kind you build from ash and blood and unbreakable will. Chicago keeps breathing. The Moretti Empire stands unchallenged, And in a penthouse that touches the sky, a woman who once burned an ultrasound in fear now holds her son in her arms, alive, safe, free. Not free from the world, free within it. That's the difference between running and surviving. One makes you a victim, the other makes you a queen. Alara chose her crown, and she wears it without apology.